Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the matchmaking system in Battlefield 2042. DICE have been making ongoing changes to that over the past couple of days, trying to make some improvements there, but unfortunately it still seems like it isn't functioning as it should be. I also want to go over some of the new player numbers here, because if we take a look at the Steam charts, and this is of course only indicative of some of the PC players, they are absolutely through the roof at the moment, and that is of course largely the free-to-play weekend to thank here. And then finally, I just wanted to touch on the future of Battlefield 2042, whether we are going to see any more seasons for the game, and when we could be seeing the next game released in a realistic situation. Before we begin though, as always, if you guys do enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Also, you know, swing by the Twitch channel if you're interested in jumping in a few rounds and playing together. That's always good fun. We stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays every week, so it'd be awesome to see some of you guys over there as well. As always, guys, thank you so much for your support. Alright, so as I mentioned in one of my videos the other day, the matchmaking system for Battlefield 2042 has been somewhat iffy of late. It's been filling servers with AI players, sometimes with hardly any players at all, which doesn't really make a lot of sense considering that the game is free to play at the moment and there should be more than enough players to fill the servers. DICE have made some improvements to that, and just yesterday they tweeted out again saying that they've made additional changes to our matchmaking process in response to ongoing feedback regarding AI soldiers in Conquest and Breakthrough. Please continue to share your opinion on this as we continue to assess and improve it. Thanks. Now, I was on stream yesterday playing the game, and I have to say I still saw a lot of AI players. It's certainly improved, but it seems like whenever people leave the server, they are now being backfilled by AI players instead of having new players matchmaking into those servers to fill them back up again. On top of that, sometimes you'll just get like dumped into a half-empty server with a bunch of AI, and it just seems as if nobody really joins. Like, the system isn't filling up the server for whatever reason, and so your only choice is to leave the server and re-queue. Obviously, not a great thing to be happening when you have a free-to-play weekend and you're trying to make as good an impression as possible, so I really hope that DICE can get this sorted ASAP. I also wanted to mention what I believe to be a pretty significant mouse sensitivity bug that at least I and some other players have been experiencing. So it's kind of difficult for me to actually show any evidence of this, but I can say as somebody who plays the game almost every day that since Season 6 has come out and they've been making changes to the matchmaker, something with my mouse sensitivity is not the same anymore. And every now and again, my mouse sense will just drop by, like, I want to say 20 to 30%, and I can just feel it's like moving my mouse through glue. And then all of a sudden, without any warning, it will just be back to whatever it normally was. I don't know if this is like a DPI related thing. I don't think it's my Logitech software, since I'm using a Logitech mouse, because I've also had other people on my stream yesterday confirming that they also feel this and they're not using the same mouse as me. So it'd be interesting, guys, if you can comment down below if you're playing on PC with a mouse and keyboard. How has your mouse sensitivity been feeling? Have you been feeling any difference? Because, you know, it is one of those things where it happens and you think, oh, I must just be going crazy, or it must just be me, you know, not moving my arm around enough or something like that. But it's happened just so many times to me now that I can feel something has changed with the game. I don't really know what it is, but before we can confirm that this is actually a problem with the game, I kind of need more people to actually chime in and say, yes, I feel this as well, because there is always a chance that it's just me and a couple of others suffering some sort of a placebo effect here. Now, moving on from that, Battlefield 2042 is actually experiencing its biggest boom in player numbers since release. So these are the current numbers here: 58,340 players, which is, you know, above half of the all-time peak, which are rather impressive numbers there, especially when you consider that this is only Steam, right? So it doesn't include all of the users like myself who play on the EA app and own the game there. It also doesn't include, of course, anybody who's playing on console. So yesterday I posted on X, formerly Twitter, about the numbers going up there, and actually we see 57,000 players there. The curve started to go down, and I think a lot of people thought that the free-to-play wave was over, but now we see the wave going up and actually beating yesterday's numbers. So That is really encouraging to see. In fact, if we go and take a look at the entire lifetime here on Steam, we see that the other big peak here was 36,000 players on November the 28th. I believe that was the release of Season 3, and that also coincided with a free-to-play weekend of some sort. Also, the game went free-to-play for PlayStation Plus, so that certainly helped matters as well there. But, you know, this is like 20,000 more players than that, so really, really good to see Battlefield 2042 finally getting a bit of recognition here, because the game has been massively improved, and I really do think it's worth picking up and playing, especially since the game is also on sale at the moment, and I think you can get it for like less than $10. So for that price, I feel certainly confident in being able to recommend it. Now, the big question, of course, is are any of those players going to actually stick around for the future, or are they going to get bored of Season 6 within about 6 weeks' time and then fall off? This has always been the issue with Battlefield 2042. Every season we get a big boom in player numbers, and then the content just isn't really enough to keep people coming back. Especially now that this season we're not getting like a new map rework like we did in the first 4 seasons. As far as I know, we're also not getting any new vault weapons. I'm sure there is going to be an update 6.1 and a 6.2 and probably a 6.3, and there will be some meaningful changes within those updates. There's of course going to be the mid-season event, which seems to be rather spooky and Halloween themed. And that sort of nicely brings us on to the next topic of this video. How much more support are we actually going to see for Battlefield 2042? So if we go and take a look on Amazon Prime, for those of you who don't know, if you own Amazon Prime, you actually get some little freebies for Battlefield 2042, some skins and some things like that. And they give these out to Prime members every month. If we go over and check there, it says that there are going to be some goodies coming for Battlefield 2042 in 11 months' time. So at the very least, we can still expect them to be giving out skins and things like that in almost a year from now. Now, that certainly doesn't confirm the existence of like a Season 7 or a Season 8, and I think there are sort of 2 schools of thought here. On the one hand, I would like to believe that given that DICE are making efforts to improve the game on so many different fronts, like they've been working just recently on the tank mechanics, they've been working on the aircraft mechanics, they've been working on the weapon dispersion, they've been sort of addressing all of the underlying matters within the game, and it seems odd that they would just sort of can the actual content that really brings back the players and only work on improving the underlying foundation of the game, which really only serves to help players that are already playing, right? Those changes are not necessarily going to bring back old or new players, I don't think. What is going to bring new players are things like what we're seeing now, new seasonal updates, and free-to-play periods. And of course, the other school of thought is that if DICE had some content planned for the game, they would have said something about it now. They seem to have been going down this route, however, for the past couple of seasons, where they are not overstepping, they're not biting off more than they can chew, and they're essentially only giving us the heads up that a new season is coming when they feel fully ready to commit to that. So they're not binding themselves legally to deliver anything that they might want to go back on. So personally, I do believe that we will see a Season 7 and probably a Season 8 as well. I believe they will reveal the existence of a Season 7 sometime in the middle of Season 6, so maybe with update 6.1 or 6.2. And if you think about this time-wise, Season 6 is going to end next January, so this is a longer season than normal. It's 16 weeks, that's about 4 months. So if we have another couple of seasons that last for a similar amount of time, that's going to be 8 months. That's going to put us into the end of summer next year. And there is also a possibility that during the summertime, they could even start to tease the next Battlefield game, or one of the next Battlefield games, I should say, maybe even releasing one of them in October next year or November, somewhere around that usual release time that DICE like to aim for. Now, I do think the main Battlefield game that DICE Stockholm are working on won't be ready for 2024. I think we're looking at 2025 at the earliest, but let's remember, we have a bunch of studios working on this at the moment. So if I had to guess, I would say, of course, DICE Stockholm are working on the multiplayer of the next Battlefield game. The newly established Ridgeline Studios are working on the single-player aspect that will likely accompany the multiplayer aspect from DICE Stockholm. Then we've got Ripple Effect, who are working on something, a standalone project of their own. That could be a Portal 2.0, it could be a Battle Royale, it could be an extraction shooter. We have really no idea what it is, but that could be the thing that releases next year, you know, to tide us over until the next main Battlefield game releases. And then of course just recently they've also announced that Criterion Games have come on board to permanently work on Battlefield as well. But I would love to hear what you guys think about this and any of your predictions for the future of the Battlefield series. Thank you guys for watching the video today. Special thank you to my members and Twitch subscribers for their additional support as well. Have a good one guys, and I'll see you in the next video.